Number 9, we really don't have a choice here. We're going to need to memorize an important fact about circles, and specifically about this circle equation. This doesn't come up very often on the SAT, but kind of like in the way that lines have their own equation, y equals mx plus b, and the quadratics have lots of equations that we need to keep track of, there is an equation of a circle that we do need to memorize so that we can make sense of what this question is saying. So the actual generic equation for a circle is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. And in that case, h comma k is the center and r is the radius. So what does that mean? Well, if we take what we have here and we line that up, it's going to fit perfectly. So we're supposed to use this equation to see the properties of this circle. So the first thing we should see is that the center is positive 6, negative 5. That's an important piece of this that people tend to forget. It's kind of like the same way with parabolas, the way that we have a quadratic and we find the roots, and the root is kind of like the reversed sign of the factored piece. The same thing is happening here. We reverse the sign. The negative is kind of built into the equation. So when we have a negative, we ignore it, and when we have a positive, it's actually a negative. We're basically trying to make each of these parentheses things equal to 0. So the center is 6, negative 5, and then the radius is going to be 4, the square root of 16. Now we have to do something that's kind of rare in the SAT actually, is graph. We got to see what's going on here. So I need to understand this better. So I'm going to plot my points, 6, negative 5. So that's going to put my center somewhere like here, 6, negative 5. And they're telling me that point P is on the circle on the outside and has coordinates 10, negative 5. So that's going to be somewhere kind of out here, 10, negative 5. So this is the outside, and here's my center. And PQ is a diameter. What are the coordinates of Q? So it shouldn't surprise me that the difference between the center and this outside point is 4, right? 10 minus 6. That's because that's the radius. And if we wanted a diameter, basically what's happening here is we need to go across the circle and get to point Q, which is over here. And so that's going to be another 4, but now another 4 in this direction. So instead of doing 6 plus 4 to get 10, now we're going to do 6 minus 4 to get 2. So this point is 2, negative 5. And there's my answer. So once we have the picture, it's not so bad because we're really just kind of moving in one direction on a coordinate plane and just kind of adding numbers. It's getting there that's hard, right? If we look at this equation and it doesn't make any sense to us, we really can't even guess at what might be the answer here. So take a second, try to memorize this equation, put it down on a Post-it or piece of paper or flashcard or something so that you have a place to look back at it. It's not going to get you very many points on the SAT, but if it comes up, it's usually the only way to get those points. We're not always going to be able to use a strategy, so that's annoying, but at least if you have it, hey, it's probably a guaranteed 10 points, so it's worth the work of memorizing.